Greetings, Comrade. I am Maranon, Union President of the San Fernando Coca Alpine Union, and at the same time, National Chairman of the Federation of Cola, Beverage and Allied Industries Union, or FCCU. I, together with my two union officers, Dan Pineda and Villarmino Tulabot, was unfairly dismissed for alleged economic sabotage during this time of pandemic. When COVID-19 outbreak and the whole Philippines was put into enhanced community quarantine last March 14, 2020. Government is urging all people to stay at home, to immediately stop the spread of this virus. Despite of this pandemic, almost all of the establishments or companies have closed their operations. But CCBPI, particularly the San Fernando Coca plant located at Pampanga, still wants to continue its operation even without any clear policies or directions regarding the safety of its employees who wanted to report for work. He wanted to continue its operation even without a clear direction on how to safeguard its employees during this time of pandemic. In the second week of the pandemic, or third week of March 2020, when the governor of Pampanga declared the province into a total lockdown, people are confused. People don't know what to do because more strict regulations, checkpoints, which enforced more strict policies on quarantine protocols are being in place. So, and only one member of the family could go out, could be permitted to go out or issue the quarantine pass in order to buy their essentials. So, and don't know what to do because of this sudden declaration of total lockdown on the entire province of Pampanga. Of course, our union members or employees of Coca-Cola, particularly in San Fernando, Pampanga, who wanted to report for work is also in a dilemma. What will be their safety going to their work? That's why the union submitted written demands to have a clear policy or clear guidelines for those who want to report to work. Because during the time of the second week of pandemic, even CCBFI wanted to continue its operation. There are so many protocols that was not being observed. Like there was no adequate PPEs, protective equipments. There was no door-to-door shuttle service for those people who wanted to work because during that time there was no public transportation. There was no proper policy on how to sanitize people who are entering the plant premises or vehicles that are entering the plant premises. That's why we initiate and we submitted several important concerns to the company. And during that time, because of the sudden total lockdown declared by the local government, our union members asked from the union a locker meeting in order to ask some advices or guidance on what to do during the time of pandemic. And during this locker meeting on March 20, 2020, that was Saturday weekend, we explained to them and we reminded our union members that safety is the first and foremost concern of all of us, not only unions but all of us, because during this time of pandemic, we know that this virus, we cannot see this virus. So first and foremost, we reminded them that their safety and the safety of their family is the first and foremost concern. And then, if they wanted to report or do not want to report for work, it's their own decision because it's their own safety that it is at stake at the time. So we discussed also our pending demands from the management, like the door-to-door shuttle service, the financial assistance or financial concerns for those employees who could not report for work because of they were affected by this lockdown, the adequate PPEs supplied by the company, and proper washing, sanitation of all employees entering, vehicles entering in the plant. So many other concerns, safety and health concerns for our members. After that meeting, because our members are also afraid of these strict quarantine procedures being implemented by the checkpoints. That if there is no official quarantine pass issued on a certain person, he will not be allowed to pass through that checkpoints. During the time, only few of the employees of San Fernando plant were being issued quarantine pass by the government, meaning only few could report for work. We're not only afraid of the virus, but they were also afraid of the checkpoints or the policemen enforcing the checkpoints or manning the checkpoints, because those times not only people who do not have a quarantine would not be allowed to pass through, but during those times, violators of the COVID protocols are being arrested and put to jail during those times. So our members are so afraid of that. So that's why after the meeting, they voiced out that for the meantime, they will not report for work and just observe the situation first. If the situation will be okay, and maybe they will report for work. So after that meeting, because almost all our members who attended the meeting voiced out that they do not want, or for the meantime they do not want to report for work. We asked them to, if there is a plain syrup or a job that will be done, so that it will not cause additional damage to the company. And they said that there is a plain syrup that was prepared during the time. So we immediately advised them to advise or to relay to their supervisor or their section head that they will not be reporting for work for the next week. And we suggest that plain syrup beverage in box product, because this beverage in box production line has only a few people to run, so it could operate in a few people. So we suggest that this plain syrup be converted, be made into a plain syrup to be used for a BIB product. And we ask also, at the request also, personnel who are assigned in the BIB production line, especially those who are residing near the plant, to report on the next week so they could pack the syrup for BIB. So immediately those people advised or relayed to their heads or to their supervisors their intentions. The following week, BIB personnel, which we advised, reported for work. Syrup that was prepared was being produced or being packed. In spite of our effort to help the company during this trying time, we were instead charged of economic sabotage and unfairly dismissed in May 8, 2020. Even during our administrative hearing, we even presented proof and clear proofs proving that, like affidavit, proving that our union members attested that they were not being ordered or directed by the union to not to report for work during those times. Instead, it is their own individual decisions. Nevertheless, the company unfairly dismissed us because of violation of economic sabotage. So we filed a notice of strike and staged several campaigns for our reinstatement, like picket protest, noise barrage, face mask campaign, with the slogan of union busting and reinstatement of 3 union officers and others. One time when our union officers and members conducted a picket protest in front of San Fernando Coca-Cola plant, they were also observing the COVID protocols of social distancing, wearing face masks, other COVID protocols. But all of a sudden, policemen arrested them and charged them of alleged violation of COVID protocols. And later we found out that it's the Coca-Cola management, CCBPI management, who colluded with these police scalawags to arrest our members, even without violations. During the arraignment, the court proved and dismissed the case for lack of probable cause. Meaning, our members or officers who conducted that picket protest has no violation. It is clear that management is colluding with these unscrupulous policemen just to arrest members or union members and officers who are conducting campaign, who are peacefully conducting campaign and observing COVID protocols. Conciliation proceedings, hearings before the National Conciliation and Mediation Board on our notice of strike case still continues, and we have hearing this coming October 22 at 10 a.m. It is clear that Coca-Cola is taking advantage of this pandemic just to threaten union members, threaten unions, leaders, to weaken the union and ultimately neutralize or bust the union. He used this pandemic in his own advantage. Instead of helping its employees to cope up with this pandemic, Coca-Cola is taking advantage of this pandemic for its own advantage. Another thing that CCBPI is taking advantage is the anti-terror law, which was recently passed into law by the government. In September 1, 2019, CCBPI decided to absorb PRCI employees as regular Coca-Cola employees because CCBPI lost numerous cases declaring PRCI employees as regular Coca-Cola employees. The court declared these TRCI employees as a regular Coca-Cola employees because TRCI, the Red System Company Incorporated, is wholly owned by the company. And it is a clear in-house contractor. That's why the court found out that these employees should be a regular employees of Coca-Cola. So last year, Coca-Cola decided to absorb the TRCI employees as a regular Coca-Cola employees. So we organized unions in that group. And almost 80% or much more than 80% signed a membership into our union. However, CCBPI also organized its own company union using some yellow leaders as their leaders. And now, the certification election is on the process. And what CCBPI is doing now is he also colluded with this scalawag or unscrupulous policemen and the allegedly or the fabricated stories that our union members are members of the leftist or members of the terrorist, members of the communist organization, and tag them as a terrorist group and invited them into police headquarters. And in the police headquarters, they are invited for questioning, and they were told that in order to clear yourself, they were made to sign, the policemen made our union sign a document and found out that this document is a manifestation or it is a union membership in favor of the union organized by the company or CCBPI. So it is a clear indication or it's a clear, it's very clear that CCBPI is also using this anti-terror law on its own advantage. It is using this anti-terror law to threaten all leaders or members that are very vocal, militant on their own rights. They use this anti-terror law to weaken the union. They use this anti-terror law ultimately to bust the union. That is why we continue to organize, we continue to form ourselves, to unite ourselves in order to protect our rights, to defend our rights, to defend our union rights and job security rights, and most especially to defend our future. Thank you, comrades, and mabuhay kayong lahat.
Sentro ang aking sambahan.